Thank you for joining us this morning. For those of you I haven't met yet, I am Stephanie Wright, the facilitator of these virtual meetings. And so thank you for joining us. I hope that each and every one of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and that you had a wonderful welcome 4 days off. It's hard to believe that we only have 16 more work days before our next holiday break. So this morning we have a special guest, David Curvella, our Senior Director of System-Wide Professional Development. So welcome, David. We will be hearing from him on the resources in our toolkit in just a little bit. However, we have an important agenda item that we want to talk about first. So let's briefly go over our agenda. So let me get to it. All right, so this morning we're going to talk about the Recruiters Workshop, and I'm going to go over the survey results. And then David's going to talk about the recruitment toolkit. We'll then do a brief review of the employment SharePoint site just to remind you what all the items that are on that. Then I'll give you an update on the background check policy and just a brief comment about the juvenile offense history and employment application. So there's a document going out very soon regarding that. So also as a reminder, as we move through the webcast this morning, please write down your questions or comments in the chat box. Also, the PowerPoint from today's session will be offered to you as a downloadable resource, and then additionally it will be posted on our employment SharePoint site. So I'm very happy to report that we had a very good, healthy participation in our recruitment survey that we took a couple weeks ago. And based on the results of the survey, we are going to present to you today our first ever Recruiters Workshop, the proposal for it. However, before I get into the details, I do want to sincerely thank Karen Kerr from Long Beach State and Mika Williamson from CSU Northridge for their help in not only developing the survey, but also putting this workshop together. So thank you, Karen and Mika. So based on the survey results, the workshop is going to be held on Thursday, February 9th, 2017. It will just be a one-day workshop based on what the comments we received. And we have chosen the Crown Plaza near the San Francisco Airport at this location due to its accessibility to and from the San Francisco Airport. The hotel does have a shuttle to and from the airport, and the convenient use of the hotel rooms for those of us that have to arrive the night before. Also, the hotel is close to the town of Burlingame, and I think the hotel has a shuttle to and from there as well. So if we arrive the night before, want to go out to dinner or get together for some libations, we could do that. So right now, although we are currently in negotiations with this hotel, it looks like the room rate will be $199 per night, and the registration fee for the workshop will be about $100 per person. We are hopeful that we'll have enough attendance and participation from vendors to either keep it at this rate, or hopefully we can reduce this rate. I do want to acknowledge San Francisco State, especially Jeanette Peralta, for being flexible and working with us on getting this location and helping us prepare and work on some of the logistics for this workshop. So thank you very much, Jeanette. So based on the results from the survey, I'm going to go over the topics that will be presented at the workshop. And because these topics are general in nature, this workshop is open to all faculty recruiters, staff recruiters, and MPPs. I know in the beginning we talked about just having it focus on staff and MPPs, but as you'll see soon about the topics that were chosen, that it's open to all and it's very general in nature. So I also want to thank all of the HR folks that have volunteered to present and or serve on a discussion panel. Please note that this workshop is created by and for our CSU recruiters. The intent of the workshop is to share ideas and information related to these topics. The goal is to engage everyone simultaneously in generating questions, ideas, and suggestions. We may not be able to address and solve all the problems that matter. However, at least we're going to start the discussion and the dialogue on how to address our recruitment needs. So the plan is that each session will start with a 20 or 30 minute presentation and then go into 20 to 30 minutes of question and answer, sharing information. So, and additionally, we want you to know that we will capture all of the information that happens during the sessions in written format such as minutes, and we'll share with all participants. So now I'm going to go over the results of the survey, the topics, and in order. So the first one is successful interview techniques with behavioral interviewing. And this is going to be presented by Mika Williamson of Northridge, Karen Kerr of Long Beach State, and Sandra Buffalini of Cal Poly Pomona. The second topics, the recruiting strategies using social media, tied with how to minimize hiring delays and recruiting like a search firm. So recruiting strategies using social media, we're going to have this session be presented by an outside presenter. So far we've heard that Job Elephant, Monster.com are interested in presenting during this session. And I think Samson Blackwell of SLO also has a possible presenter that can speak on this subject. And this presentation is not to be a sales presentation. So we want to make that really clear to whatever entity that we do get to speak on this. And then how to minimize hiring delays, that will be presented by Karen Kerr. If your campus would like to assist her with this presentation, please let me know. And then recruiting like a search firm. This is going to be presented by Samson Blackwell and his team at San Luis Obispo. Branding your campus as a great place to work will be presented by Gabriel Barraga of San Marcos, and we're still waiting to hear from San Jose State. And then understanding minimum qualifications. We are working on getting presenters on this topic, so if your campus is interested in presenting on this or serving on a discussion panel, please let me know as soon as possible. And if your campus is interested in assisting with any of these presentations, please let me know. If not, just be prepared to ask a lot of questions during the sessions and share what your campus is doing related to these topics. So the following is the proposed, the preliminary schedule. So we know a lot of people may be flying in the night before, so or that morning or driving in. So from 8 to 9:30, it's going to be an optional. We'll have a breakfast and we'll have roundtable discussions. We'll decide on what the presentations or the topics will be based on the number of folks that are there. And then hopefully we'll have time with the exhibitors, and I'll go over that in the next slide. And then at 9:30 we'll start and we'll do a really brief welcome and introductions. And then as you can see, it's jam-packed. Because one of the things that came out in the survey was that they wanted, many of your HROs and AVPs wanted the session to end early enough that you can either fly home that night or drive home from San Francisco. So the first one for an hour, and these are just preliminary timeframes until we see the presentations and talk to all the campuses that are presenting. But the session one, branding your campus as a great place to work, will be the first session. Second session, recruiting like a search firm. Then we'll have about a 20-minute break to spend time with the exhibitors. And then the lunch presentation, this will be a working lunch, so we'll have the presentation during the lunch and then hopefully have time with the exhibitors. And then from 1 to 1:45, how to minimize hiring delays. 1:45 to 2:30 is successful interviewing techniques. Have a break. And then session 5 is understanding minimum qualifications. And then we hope to end by 3:30, so that from 3:30 to 4:30 we can have conclusion. Those that are still staying, we can have more time with the exhibitors. So that's the preliminary schedule. This will depend a lot on the exhibitors. So possible exhibitors, all of these folks, these companies have been sent letters from me, except LinkedIn. I don't have a contact for LinkedIn. So any of your campuses, I think San Diego might. If your campuses has a possible contact for this vendor, please let me know. But all the other ones have been addressed, and they have a letter. And I'll be happy to let you know that so far, Rick Friedman of Scholarly Hires, as soon as he got the letter, and he's a referral from Karen Kerr at Long Beach State. The minute he got it, he already booked his flight, David. He's already like ready to come and visit all of you. So we already have one vendor, and we don't even have the program yet. Anyway, so that was pretty cool. So thank you, Karen, for that that lead. So that's Scholarly Hires, which I had never heard from. Well, then I know that so all of these have been approached. If you know of anyone at these companies, also one's missing, Greystone Group. And I know Jeanette Peralta works with them. And also Greystone Group Advertising has a system-wide contract with the CSU. So they are not on this list, but they have been contacted. But if you know anyone at these companies and want to encourage them to attend, or if you have any other vendors that you would like us to approach, please send me their information. I'll be happy to do that. And then we're charging the exhibitors $350 for their exhibit space. And then if they want meals, I think we budgeted about, it'd be $450 for meals for 2 people. So that's everything about the actual workshop. So now we have a poll. So and this poll is specifically for the recruiters or those responsible for recruiting. So based on the workshop we just proposed, would you, based on what you learned about this workshop, if you were to attend, how many do you think would come from your campus? So if we can just get an idea, we're not going to hold you to it, but if you can just kind of put there what you think that we could get. We'll still have to send out the registration, and we'll keep you posted on all of the different information as it becomes available. It's only in a few months, so we're working very quickly on it. We have, based on the survey, we have about 70 recruiters in the CSU, and that's just from what I learned from the staff and MPP recruiters. That's on the faculty side. But like I said, because you saw the list of topics that you chose, that they're pretty general in nature. So that's great. So we're hoping for, I know San Marcos said they wanted to send 5 people, and right now we don't have a limit. We have this big room. So we're talking to the hotel, so that would be great. So thank you very much, and we'll get that registration.
I see there are still
out.
a few people that have not responded. We have 57 participants on the call and about 30 responses. Mm-hmm. If anybody can take a second just to check one of the options. If you're not checking them, then we assume that you're not gonna come,
or that they don't not responsible
know,
for
yeah,
recruitment.
Yeah.
They're not recruiters. It could be that they're not in recruitment. But I hope you liked the agenda. Any ideas, suggestions, please send to me, and we'll incorporate them. Like I said, it's all in the preliminary stage, and it's showing up pretty good. So I want to also again thank Karen, thank Mika, and thank Jeanette for all of their help with me, and also to all of the campuses that have volunteered to be presenters. So remember, it's interactive. This isn't just lectures. This is going to be for everybody to talk about and share information. So thank you for that. And I don't see any questions. So now we're going to go to the next topic. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to a wonderful colleague and an all-around great guy, Mr. David Curvella. David is going to show you share with you some helpful information and resources that are available to all of us on Toolkit. So David?
Well, thank you, Stephanie. Looks very interesting, the workshop.
I know.
And especially that libation workshop you said at the beginning that's going to happen the night before.
Yeah, the libation. Yeah, the libation.
Any more information about that? I might come. I don't know. So thank you for having me today. I know that I've met some of you before, and the rest of you have not, but I appreciate having this opportunity to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you about the recruitment toolkit, but I want to give you some information about toolkits in general and the approach that we've taken in the last year. We realized, as part of our effort to provide professional development tools and resources, that there is a lot of information that already exists on our campuses. And many times when you have a question, the answer lies with one of your colleagues at another campus. They've already looked at this issue, they've already looked at a problem, they already have a solution. And we wanted to find some way to create a synergy between the campuses and create one central depository for all of the information that exists on your campuses. So we took this process of creating toolkits on various topics that I will show you in a second, and really creating the central repository for all the information that exists. Recruitment was one of them. And the way that we've created those toolkits is that we've taken a simple model of each one of the topics. So we've taken a simple model of recruitment. It's not the latest and greatest model, not something that was created by some consulting firm or anything like that, but something that is very generic in order for us to have some type of order for the information that we're gathering. So I'm going to ask Jen to take us to the site. And for those of you that have not been there before, it's our central site that all of you have access for. It's CSU, or as some people call it, CSYOU. Simply by going to csyu.org, you're able to log in to this site that you're seeing right now, where I will take you, and the link will be available later. It was already on the presentation earlier. Is where the system-wide professional development site is, and if you go at the top to divisions and organizations, and then right in the middle at the bottom, system-wide professional development. Once you click on it, it takes you to the system-wide professional development site. You can find a lot of great information there, whether it's compliance training, leadership development, and our latest supervisory training course that we've created. But I will not go there. If you see on the right there, there's our.
I'm going to make this full screen. Actually,
okay, thank you. So we'll wait for Jen to get the information full screen. But on the right-hand side, there was information about our CSU's Got Talent series, and tomorrow we have a great presentation at 10 a.m. You can see that. I will not make this about our site. But at the middle there, you see Talent Management Toolkits, and I'm going to ask Jen to click on Talent Management Toolkits. So if you click on that one link, it takes you to the various toolkits that we have there. Just so you see the topics that we have: performance management, recruitment, principles of supervision, workforce planning, and if you scroll down, there's going to be also change management. They're all similar in structure. We're not going to go to any of them right now. Principles of supervision just mimics the course that we've just created, and each one of them just as a simple model for the topic and a lot of resources under each steps of the model. So I'm going to ask Jen to click on the recruitment one, which is the one that I want to show you today. And when you go to the recruitment one, there's some general information at the top. You will see also that there's where it says Module 1 and Module 2, that's where we are directing you, and you don't have to click on it, but we're directing you to a course that we've created in-house here with the help of campuses and Michael Caldwell at Academic HR and Stephanie as well. And we've created 2 modules for searches and recruitment at the CSU, specific tailored for the CSU and our campuses, and about diversity in hiring. I know that there's been a lot of interest about it lately. Some campuses have reached out and asked about it. So you're more than welcome to go and find this information there. It is available, and I know that a lot of committees, search committees, and so on are using these modules before they actually start the recruitment process. On the right-hand side, if you scroll down, and we see the 5 steps, but on the right-hand side, we just put faculty recruitment retention in the CSU. It's the latest document that came out from Academic HR about information about our recruiting and a lot of data that we thought was very useful, and we just wanted to showcase it here. But if you look at the actual recruitment model, we put it under 5 steps. Like I said, a simple recruitment process. It's not something that is out of the ordinary or crazy. It's just a simple recruitment process. But your first step of recruitment will be approvals and preparation. The second one would be to find candidates. Third one is interviewing and selection. Fourth one is selling and offers. And the fifth one is onboarding and paperwork. I know that many of you might have different types of models. You dice them differently and organize them differently. We just wanted to find something that is easy to follow and an easy way for us to put information. Under each one of them, if we, for example, click on the first one, first step, then again, it gives you some information about the concept of the first step. And then once you start scrolling down, then you also see various resources. The first thing that we did was, since we have a license with Skillsoft that is available to anybody on your campus, every employee on your campus, we outlined some courses that we knew are related to this specific subtopic. And we're just showing you some courses that you might find interesting. It's not all the courses that exist in Skillsoft on this topic, but some that we were able to pull out. Then below that, you will see CSU resources, and that's where we really get the information from all of you. And if you look at some of the resources that we were able to gather from here, from the Chancellor's Office, from Arlene and Christy here at the Chancellor's Office, San Diego State, Stanislaus, San Bernardino, Chico, Long Beach, Cal Poly Pomona, Dominguez Hills, Humboldt, Sonoma, and San Marcos. And how do we gather all these? So some of them we just we stumbled upon when we did our research and we were able to find them ourselves. And others we find during conversations between either Stephanie and some of you, or the HR officers and AVPs that are on the listserv. So it's almost like we're fishing or hunting. We are all on these listservs, and whenever a question comes up and someone says, "Oh, anybody has a recruitment policy?" and then Sonoma State sends their recruitment policy, I just grab it and I put it up there. If Stephanie sees anything, then she will get information, and she's like, "Oh, David, can you put it up there?" Just yesterday, I saw an article, and we're looking into it. And if we find it interesting, then we might put it up there as well. But this is really can be a very powerful tool when you need a recruitment policy or anything like that. Instead of starting from scratch and creating your own, you can go and find something that one of our other campuses have done. You can find a campus that is maybe similar to yours in size, in population, in whatever it is, and we can save you a lot of the work. And then at the bottom, you see industry articles. We found some content from the UC, from UCOP, the UC Office of the President, from our sister system. Then some other articles that we found people were sending us, we stumbled upon and we thought were interesting, so we put them up there. Some of them you might not like, some of them would contradict what you have on your campus. Those are just ideas, those are just resources. No one is saying that you have to use any of this. It's really there to help you. So Jen, I'm going to ask you to go back and maybe we can look at another one. In the recruitment.
Oh, sorry.
At one of the other steps, I'll let you choose whatever looks exciting.
Okay, let's see. About interviewing and selection.
Interviewing selection, great. So under the Skillsoft resources, essentials of interviewing and hiring and conducting an effective interview. And actually, when I'm thinking about it now and looking at all the topics from your conference, I know there's also a course about behavioral-based interviewing.
Oh, good.
So we should probably add it there. I know that would be an interest. CSU, we have a resource from Northridge and from Fullerton for various guides. If any of you have any resources that you want to add to any of these steps, please send them our way. We'll be happy to add them there. And then some interesting industry articles that we found to be prepared for the interview, 12 tips for selecting the right candidate for the job, how to select hire best job candidates, and so on. Some assessment tools, so things that you definitely might find very useful. So if we go back just to the previous page, Jen.
Okay.
I want you to look again at those 5 steps. This is going to be as strong as your participation and how much you're willing to share. If you see any document, resource, anything that other campuses might benefit from, that you would like to share with your colleagues, best practices, this is a bragging point as well. Okay, here's what our campus is doing and it's working really well for us. Share it with your colleagues, save them some time. We know that one of the things that are most challenging for us here at the CSU is that we do not have enough people. So if we can synergize a little bit between our campuses and help each other, we might be able to reach our goals a little bit easier.
Great. Thank you, David. And I know that the recruiters want to start a user group. And so this would be a great tool, and we can probably come up with a lot of ideas of things to share and add to it. So thank you very much. I don't know how many folks out there were aware of all of these resources, but thank you for presenting to us today. And I'm sure during the recruiters workshop, we can talk a little bit about more of this, and I'll go through it all and see if there's some great resources.
No, actually, you bring up a great point, just impromptu here, but if you can type, if you've ever seen this, whether a yes or no, have you ever seen this tool before in the chat box right below me?
Yeah. That's right, yes or no?
Wealth of resources, thanks, David. I've not seen it before. No, thank you. Yes, Mo, no. No. Oh, I see a lot of no's. That's good. Yes, no.
Well, then your time here today was very well spent.
Yeah, it's not good that you haven't seen it, but it's good that you're seeing it today. Now, so right. we're very excited.
Great.
Perfect. Hey, Ben.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you again. So this is very helpful. Excellent. So we're going to get a nice applause for that one. So Next, we're going to go to the employment group SharePoint site, and Jen's going to pull that up for us. I just want to remind you of some of the other resources that are available to you. So Jen, and all of you have access to the employment group SharePoint site. If you forgot how to get to it, or you don't think you do, or you're having trouble, just send me an email and we'll make sure we hook you up again so that you have access to it.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to the main page here. You were getting a lot of applause there, David.
Hey, David. Okay, so go to the employment one. Okay, so we're going to stop at the, we're going to start at the left side, the list. So the employment questions and answers. If you can go to that one, Jen.
Okay, I will just go back again. I'm sorry, I make the screen full screen for everybody one more time.
Perfect.
And everyone will see the exact same thing we're seeing. Okay. There we go.
Okay, thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
All right, so the employment questions and answers, if you can click on that one, that's the top one. This is where we have captured all of your listserv questions. So Jen, see those little plus signs to the left of every title?
Yes.
If you just click on that, that will have, you know, who posted a question and what the responses are. So that's there for all of you so that you don't have to clog up your email with all the listserv questions. We are capturing all of them there. So that's for you. So now we're going to go to the next on employment managers.
Okay. It's just contact information.
Yeah, sure. Contact information. Now we're just calling all of you employment managers because you're in the employment group, right? You all have different titles, but that's just a catch-all name. But there's the contact information. So if you were to touch Al Ledicote's name, it would go directly to Al. However, if you pushed on the, let's click on the campus name, San Luis Obispo. On every campus, it will take you directly to the human resource website. So that's good. So you don't have to go through the entire their campus website. It'll take you directly to HR. So we'll go back. The next one is duties and responsibilities. Now, a lot of you, we have a lot of blanks here. So you can either go into this document and edit and click on all those areas that you are responsible for, because this helps your colleagues know, okay, I have a question about performance evaluation, and so why don't I see who's on the list and who has that as part of their duties and responsibilities. So you can either edit this yourself, go into the SharePoint site, or you can send me the list of your responsibilities and we will add these for you. So it's kind of a nice little tool, and eventually we'll probably have to add some other duties and responsibilities. But as you can see, David, this group is wide in their duties and responsibilities. Mm-hmm. It's not the class comp group or the recruiters group. We have a whole slew of, I think there's about 120 on our list.
It's the Tag Your It group?
Yes, exactly. Okay, so now we're going to go back and go to the employment resources. Here we've basically taken about any policy that deals in this realm of employment and did it alphabetically, and you'll see there's different, all the different policies there if you're looking for all the things related to background check, related to investigations, elimination of criminal conviction. This will take you directly to the policy. We're checking some of the links we saw were broken, but Sean Burnett has been wonderful about fixing this all up. So there's a lot of different resources, and we're going to be adding some more as we go. But we just thought anything in the employment world, we'll put in this as an employment resource. And if you go back, Jen, I'll go look at the, okay, those are shared documents. So shared documents are meetings and agendas. Also, all of our PowerPoint, the group webcast are also in there. I'm sorry, they're in the next section. Okay, so let's go to the system-wide HR org chart. We keep this up to date. Oops.
Let's see if I can get in here.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, there is our current Andrew Jones, our interim vice chancellor. So there is the latest in our org chart. I think there's about 45 people in system-wide HR. Okay, thank you, Jen. And then we'll just look at the last one, the employment group webcast recordings. Here is where you can go if you've missed any of these wonderful webcasts. Their PowerPoints, the different presentation, you know, we've had a lot of different speakers, but they're in each of those. So I know Sean is working with me to update all these to make sure we have all of the documents there, but any of those, we kind of just took a general title so you'd know, oh, that was the one where they did the background check policy, or that was the one where Inside Higher Ed did a presentation. So we just picked one of those instead of the date. So that's our SharePoint site. It's for all of you. It is a tool for all of you. If you want any changes or you want to add some other features, please let us know because it is for you. So, and any questions, and if you can't access it, please let me know. Send me an email and we will make sure that we fix that right away so you have that. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the infamous background check policy. Okay, so we have time. So it's still in the process of being finalized, and the meet and confers with the union are almost complete. So as a warning, due to those facts, please do not, it's important that you do not share or do not implement any of the following proposed significant changes. So please don't implement them. And I know once the policy has been released, then I'm assuming that there'll be a webcast to go over the significant changes. But I just wanted to share with all of you because I know all of you have been waiting for some time. So some of the significant changes: student workers and volunteers are only required to undergo background check if it is required by law. The second one, one of the significant ones that we heard from all of you, is that instead of verifying the past 10 years of employment, we are going to only have you relevant employment for the past 5 years. So that's a huge change. Also, credit checks may be required for employees only if they meet the credit check requirements and the campus determines it to be job related. Any employee or volunteer with direct contact with minor children must undergo a background check, so the CSU policy requires fingerprinting for these individuals. The employees of auxiliaries and outside entities are required to certify that employees in sensitive positions have completed the appropriate background checks. Student activities, clubs, service learning, community engagement, internships, field trips, etc., are not included under this policy. And one-time services, for example, public talks, guest lectures, conference presentations, are exempt from the background check requirement. And just a couple more. The sensitive position grid has been updated, so campuses must consider factors such as frequency, nature, duration of the sensitive duties, and supervision in applying the sensitive position grid. And also the CSU will not consider a conviction unless a candidate was convicted of the crime, released from prison, or released from parole within 7 years before the assessment. So those are some of the changes and or clarifications that you're going to see in the revised background check policy, but please do not implement things or make any changes yet until the policy has been reissued. And like I said, it's being finalized now, and then I'm sure there'll be some kind of webcast, or I'll ask that we do the webcast during our employment SharePoint, because there's going to be a couple questions on some of these, and we'd like to clarify a few things. So next, as you recall, last in our October webcast, I had mentioned AB 1843, and a memorandum or a policy will go out soon because this is effective January 1st. So Governor Jerry Brown signed into law AB 1843, which prohibits employers from asking an applicant for employment to disclose or from utilizing as a factor in determining any condition of employment an applicant's juvenile offense history. So law goes into effect January 1st, 2017, and right now they're actively working on this policy. I don't believe, or we're waiting to hear if it has to go through the meet and confer process. We don't think so because we already have that supplemental application. So we're waiting, everything's in the works right now to get that to you relatively soon. So that's in the works. So if you see a new law is coming out, yes, and we are on top of it, and you'll have something, I would say, relatively soon. Okay, so we have no December webcasts, so happy holidays, and then we'll see you the 4th Wednesday of every month starting in January. I think that one is January 25th will be our next webcast. However, I will be communicating to most of you, if not all of you, regarding the recruiters workshop, so watch for that. We're going to work really quickly to get that registration out, but we do need help with any exhibitors, because more exhibitors we have, the lower we can keep the registration rate, right? And also add value to the workshop itself. So I want to thank again all of you who are have been very helpful in that endeavor. And unless you have any other last questions, we will be done at 9:37. And I want to thank David for being our special guest today and giving us access to a new tool. Well, not new, but unveiling something for many of us, right?
Happy to be here.
So I don't see any other questions. So thank you all for being here. We had 64 attendees today. So, so it was great seeing all of you, and we will talk to you soon. So thank you very much. And thank you, Jen, for being a great studio director.
And we have the PowerPoint on the screen if they want to download that
Great.
as well. So
If anybody wants to download the PowerPoint, it's right there on the screen, and you can just click on the upload file. Is that
that's right.
okay? Click on the upload file. Happy holidays to you as well, Kelly.
Have a great holiday, everyone.
Thank you.